Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and as promised on the Facebook fan page, I'm going to deliver the coup de grace against my critics who do not like my stance and have tried to ridicule publicly my stance on PEDs versus supplements. And I did an opening video, my opening argument, which a lot of people were really shocked by, opened a lot of eyes, which I will link here. I'm going to link it down below. Watch that if you want some context for this conversation. Now, a lot of people are not aware of this because we get new generations of guys who come in every year. They start training. They get sucked into this whole industry, the fitness world or the bodybuilding world, the supplement world. They're not familiar with the history of the supplement industry. And the truth is, this goes all the way back to the 1980s. And now, what I'm going to say about Joe Weider here, under British law, it is impossible to defame or slander a dead person. Joe Weider is dead. I can say anything I want about him. And as long as I don't mention any living person, it doesn't matter. Even if he was the head of a company, that company cannot sue me for discussing his personal actions or slandering him. It is protected speech. You cannot defamate or slander them in the country I live in, or that this video is being hosted in. There was always rumors years ago that Joe Weider put oral steroids into a lot of his products when he put out a new product so that it got a big reputation. People got really, really good gains on it, and then he would pull it back out of the product before he got in trouble with it. This was always a rumor. People always noticed this with the products. They were really good sometimes when they came out, and they got less gains over time. Within 6 months or so of the product coming out, it didn't work as well, but then new products came out. This pattern was repeated. The truth is, big supplement companies have been busted quite a few times, actually caught doing this by governments, and actually been caught putting anabolic steroids, everything ranging from Dianabol and Anadrol to Turinabol, into their supplements. And I don't mean just ones that claim to build huge amounts of muscle. They've been caught putting them in weight gainers. They've been caught putting them in protein powders. Now, we'll jump forward to the future, the ones that are in recent years, in the last few years. A lot of you remember the whole Rob Riches thing, him testing positive for an amphetamine analog, and it turned out it was supposedly in Craze. Lobline and other people tested it. They found some Craze products that had this stuff in there. They had to pull it off the shelves. It's an illegal amphetamine, and it's actually banned in his sport. Well, here's the reality. Natural bodybuilding, drug-tested powerlifting, all these sports, the testing is so lax that the only people who ever get caught using a drug are people who don't know that they're on the drug. Anyone with a calculator, they know what day they're going to get drug tested. They know that this drug takes 3 months to clear. This one takes 3 days to clear. This one takes 14 days to clear for a urine test. They're not going to get popped. They come off of it in time. Well, you had the case of Rob Riches there. He didn't know he was on it. It turned out it was in a supplement he was taking, an illegal drug. He didn't know he was on it because the guy's clearly smart enough that he wouldn't have had it in his system at drug testing time had he been using it intentionally. And it turned out the product he was using really had it in there. This is a matter of public record at this point. There's lab results showing this stuff. It was in the product. Now, the big one I want to talk about, because let's talk about the biggest one of these in recent years. I will link the FDA's website and findings on this down below. You can find a lot more information online, so this is a matter of public record. Bodybuilding.com, the biggest weightlifting and supplement forum in the entire planet, a forum which incidentally, due to me telling the truth on some things, gave me a lifetime ban. I could never post there ever again. Was found guilty. They pled guilty, and the president of the company pled guilty and took a plea bargain in open court for putting anabolic steroids, which are a Schedule III substance, which means this is the same class of substance in the United States that cocaine and heroin fall under, of putting them in products, mass distribution of them, shipping them across state lines and international lines. Because he got a plea bargain, unlike you would do prison for this. He got probation. He got a $600,000 fine, which he agreed to pay. The company itself was fined $7 million by the U.S. government for this. Now, a lot of people will say, well, there could have been leftover stuff from their pro-hormone days, and maybe there was just something mixed up in there. It could have been an honest mistake on their part, and they got caught with their pants down. It was something got mixed in their ingredients wrong. Well, here's the problem with that. Yeah, Superdrol was in there, which we discussed in the last video. And there have been athletes who've been popped for Superdrol at drug-free bodybuilding shows who really and truly said they weren't using Superdrol. They don't know how they got popped. Well, there's an example. And there were a couple of the pro-hormone products in there. The FDA pulled 62 different products off the shelf because of this. 62. However, they did find another substance in there, and a bunch of them, known as turinabol. This was invented by the Russians in the 1950s for their Olympic athletes. Incidentally, there's no way to legally get turinabol in the U.S. No company can have it inside the United States without committing a felony. It has never been manufactured in the U.S. It has never been a legal drug in the U.S. It has never been allowed for prescription. It is purely from Europe originally, and then later produced in China. It isn't produced in the United States. It's never been a prescription drug there. It's been a felony to possess it over 20 years. The powders do not last 20 years, so someone had to illegally import massive quantities of this drug and put it in these supplements. And turinabol is one that's commonly used by these companies. Other companies have been bought for turinabol. Why? Well, because if you're going to cater something to naturals and you want to give them an anabolic steroid, and you don't want a bunch of them to get caught on drug tests accidentally, if one or two get caught, it's no big deal. No one will believe them. But if 6 different natural bodybuilders get popped on a drug test, and they all say they took your product, well, guess what? The FDA is going to come investigate and look at your product. And if they find a steroid in there, you're in deep shit. Well, not really. You're going to pay a fine and they're going to slap you on the wrist like they do all big companies like this. But turinabol, and how do I know this? Because I used to manufacture turinabol for college level athletes so that they could pass their random drug testing. It is the easiest oral anabolic steroid to slip through drug testing. It has a 3-day clearance time on urine test. It has a 1 to 2 day clearance time on blood test. The kicker is it doesn't even have a 100% accuracy rate in popping it. So if you haven't taken it in 3 days, and a lot of guys come off their supplements before a show, so that because a lot of supplements might hold water, they take all their supplements off. You come off of it a week before, 0% chance you're going to get caught on this blood test or the urine test at one of these natural bodybuilding shows. And even if you do have it in your system and you kept taking it up through the day, there's maybe the level of testing may have less than a 50% chance they'll catch the metabolite. Incidentally, at the Olympics in 2012, out of all of the past urine tests that they took, a new testing method was developed, and it turns out that when that test was run on all those urine samples, it could find metabolites easier than the old test. A year later, over 200 samples that had tested clean actually tested positive for turinabol from the 2012 Olympics. Over 200 athletes turned out to have it still in their urine that we didn't detect originally with a weaker testing method that wasn't developed until 2013. They didn't pull their medals because, well, it was a year later after the fact. But it goes to show you how effective this compound is at slipping through drug testing. So that is why that one is selected. And there's no excuse for having it in the U.S. You have to illegally import it, which is a felony, in order to even get it in a product. It's not going to be something you're going to have laying around. And you've got all these people who pimp these products. They do business with these companies. And let's talk about the bodybuilding.com one for a minute. One of my #1 public detractors, won't name any names, but one of my #1 public detractors claims to be a champion of natural bodybuilding. He knows about all this. He has an ongoing large business relationship with this company. He does business with them directly. He even works as a spokesman for them sometimes. Is a champion of natural bodybuilding with all of these ethics and integrity, yet he's willing to carry on a business relationship with a company that was fined $7 million for selling illegal anabolic steroids to its customers by the tens of thousands. It means there's 10,000 young men out there who took turinabol and don't even know that they cash in their natty card. And he's perfectly willing to do business with them comfortably. Why? Because it's about money. It's not about integrity. It's not about dealing with honest companies. It's about making money. And that's what this whole industry is about. So since we know companies do this all the time, and then we see these products come out, and I won't name any specific products, that are sent off to research funded by the supplement company, and they send their product out, and you see these products and you look at the results that these researchers got, who gave these to one group and to a control group, and their gains look on par with the studies we've seen on people on anabolic steroids in terms of muscle mass gain. Guess what? There's probably anabolic steroids in that stuff that they sent them, because when you're paying for research, you're not going to pay extra money for them to do a full spectrum analysis on your product. They're just going to assume that what's on your label is correct when they're giving it to the test subjects in that type of study. They're not being paid to investigate other stuff to see if you're really giving them the real deal. And then later when your ingredients are tested individually, they don't produce the same results. But it doesn't matter because the company already has a study saying it works. And sometimes you'll get stuff like the researchers, people who understand biochemistry and the human body, they'll get things like, wow, all the test subjects on this product all got amazing workout pumps that we can't explain why they got it from the product. Well, I'll give you a hint. Oral anabolic steroids produce a pump that nothing else out there will produce. They produce amazing pumps when you train. That is a telltale characteristic of oral anabolic steroids. So when you see something like that, well, the research, we don't know why it's causing these pumps. It's not hard to figure out. This has been done over and over and over in the industry to hype new products up so that people get results. And the reality is, all of you people out there are trusting these products. And a lot of you guys are going, oh no, does that mean I'm not natty? Yeah, if you take every new hyped up muscle building product that comes out, and you've done this 4 or 5 times already, the odds that you're still natty is pretty damn low, because this happens enough that you have probably gotten anabolic steroids from at least one of those products at some point. So you cashed in your natty card. Now here's the kicker. At least people who use pharmaceutical grade stuff from a pharmacy can look at the label. They know what's on it. They know what they're putting into their body. They can assess the individual health risks. They can prepare for the individual side effects. They know how to counter it. They can go research what to do if they ever come off of it. You're getting random drugs put in you, and let's be honest here, every doctor and researcher and endocrinologist out there will admit oral anabolic steroids are generally more dangerous, considerably more dangerous to your health than injectables. These are all orals. So you're getting the more dangerous stuff when they do this. So not only that, but now your health is in jeopardy. You've taken a drug you don't know. You've cashed in your natty card. And then on top of that, if you really get screwed, let's say you're taking some of these pills or powders on an airplane, and since they know that drugs are smuggled on oftentimes as supplements or in your pill bottle, every now and then the security will pull some of your stuff and they'll send it out for testing. And guess what? They found in your suitcase and in your luggage or your carry-on bag, your supplements turned out to have turinabol in it. That's a Schedule 3 substance. You just carried a Schedule 3 substance across state lines or in or outside of the country on an airplane and got caught. With the current laws in the United States, if that happens to you, you are fucked, my friend. All due to some greedy ass companies putting this stuff in there. And so at the end of the day, the question you've got to ask, given the track record of these companies, all these supplements that you guys want to take, you want to buy these products from these companies, look at their track record for integrity. If you're going to take their products, don't run around claiming you're natural, because the odds are if you take enough of them, at some point you have taken anabolic steroids, illegal, felony level, true anabolic steroids in your protein powder, in your pre-workout, probably some sort of amphetamine or something, because they've been busted for putting illegal amphetamines in pre-workouts. You've been taking all these drugs. You're probably going to have to suffer the health consequences of it because you took them unknowingly. You maybe didn't know the safe amount of time to take it. You took it too long. You took too high of a dose. It could impact you in the long term. And they did it all without telling you so that you would see results for a short time on their product and pimp it and go buy more. And keep that in mind. This is the track record. Anyone who's been in this game for a while already knows these companies do this. This comes in the news every now and then. They've been busted for this shit over and over the years, these different companies. So anyone telling you and promoting these products and saying, no, it's okay, you got to question their integrity. Now, at the end of the day, it's your body, it's your choice. I don't care what you do. But don't come to me and tell me that these companies have ethics. And don't come to me and tell me that these over-the-counter products that you're buying, that you don't know what in the hell's in them, and the track record shows that they oftentimes put illegal drugs in there that aren't even on the label. Don't come and tell me that that is safer or even legal. Because if you get caught with the illegal drug, they don't care if it's in your supplement or not. You have a Schedule 3 substance. So don't tell me that this is safer or better than someone going and using PEDs, or that it's any more natural. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Look at that pump. Maybe I took me some of them over-the-counter supplements and they're pumping my arms up. And the researchers can't explain why.